Hello, this is Steve Carter, and I want to show you how to use Amazon's AWS or EC2 cloud to do fractal computing. I'm using UltraFractals, which has two parts to it. Number one is the client that lets you see what's going on and do the calculations. And number two is the server, which allows you to move some of the calculations away from your local machine into other machines so that the calculations can be done quicker. And what we want to do is move those calculations out to the cloud, the Elastic Computing to Cloud, which is provided by Amazon. The way to do that: first of all, you need to go to aws.amazon.com, which will bring you to a screen that allows you to either sign up, and if you haven't signed up yet, you need to do that first. You can use your existing Amazon.com account, or you can create a different account for your fractal computing. I'm going to go to my account and the AWS Management Console. I am not yet logged on. I asked for my Amazon.com sign-in. I will pause here and sign in and then meet you on the other side. And here we are at the dashboard. Now you're going to need a couple of things in order to do fractal computing. First of all, you need a key pair, and if we go here to the key pairs, you can create a new key pair. When you do that, make sure that you copy down the certificate that they will give you, which you save on your system and is the other part of this particular key right here. You can call it anything you want. You'll notice I have a fractal key pair and an SRC key pair, and I use those for two different workloads. So create your key pair, and then you also need to have security groups. Now you can use the default security group. That's what I do. And the default security group you need to modify so that it has a TCP and a UDP protocol for port 8691, which is the default port that UltraFractal uses to communicate with its server. Notice over here on the source IP or group that I put 0.0.0.0/0, which basically says that the firewall will be open for any IP address, which is basically what the security group does, is it creates a firewall, and you've just opened a pinhole in the firewall for 8691. Going back to now instances, which on the dashboard would show that I have these 4 instances running because I am currently doing a calculation to deep dive into a midget that I'm trying to find. We're going to create another instance so that I'll have 5 servers running, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we come here to Launch Instance, and here if you just go to the Community AMIs, an AMI is an Amazon Instant, and the easiest way to find this particular AMI is to type fractal right here. And Jared Allen, a friend of mine, created a instance that has the fractal server already loaded into it, and it will start up on the instance being created. So if we select this, number of instances, you can select multiple here. I'm going to select one because I already have 4 running. Now on small and high CPU, this right here, small, is an AMD processor type system that has 2 cores in it, whereas this is a Xeon, an Intel Xeon system that has 2 cores in it. I like this because it goes quite a bit faster and has more capability than the small. However, the small only costs, at the current rate that Amazon charges, 12.5 cents an hour, whereas the high costs 30 cents an hour. On that key pair, notice here I need to select one, and then on the security group I have that default which has that hole open. I now punch launch, and it says the instance is now launching. Now it's going to take about 7 minutes for this to get going, and at that point you'll be able to start using it. Notice here that it says starting, and we're waiting for this, the public DNS. So I will pause now. Okay, it has been that several minutes, and you see now that we have the public DNS. DNS is domain name service, and basically if we typed in all of this stuff, or clicking here we selected it and pasted it, we could get to this machine. Now, as a part of the name is the IP address, 75.101.200.228. So basically we can also get to it with that. Now if I were to bring over ultrafractal here, and you can see I'm already doing a calculation, and I have several, well, those 4 machines, those 4 instances that I showed you before, and we were to, let me get that public DNS, get that, copy it, and bring this now over and say I want to add a new thing here, and I want to say paste. It has that in it. I say OK, and what happened here, notice it says connected, and it is now starting to use that machine to do calculations. And if I were to say do it again, Sam, and play it again, Sam, and play it once more, I could make several threads going here, which is calculating this. Just to show you what's happening, let me bring these up here, which are basically remote desktops into the 5 machines now. And you can see that they are all taking traffic, and they're all doing pixels per second here. Some of them aren't using some of the connections, but right there it did. And you can see that real work is being done to calculate this midget deep dive. Now, obviously I missed the midget. I'm going to move this over just so you can see what it's doing. Here's my local processor starting immediately, and ultrafractals is now setting up all the stuff that it needs the other addresses over here to do. And as soon as it gets that done, you can see all the other threads start up that are in the cloud, and you can see that this guy here is now calculating, and I'm getting a lot more work done than I would with just my local machine. In fact, if we look over here, we're already 0.1 done, and we are 10 to the 113th power deep into Scepter Valley to try and find this midget. The last thing you need to make sure to do, going back to the AMS Management Console, is that when you're done, and I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this guy here, make sure that you select your instances and terminate them. Otherwise, you're going to be running all this stuff all the time, and you'll be being charged 12.5 cents or 30 cents an hour for work that you're not even doing. I hope this is enlightening, and I would very much like to hear any stories back from those who try this to see how fractal computing does in the cloud. Thank you very much.